Hey everybody, I am back today with
Hey,
Mr.
hey,
Soluto Uba. Hello,
what's up,
Soluto.
y'all? Hey,
How
hey,
are
how you
you?
doing? I'm doing
Good.
well,
Thank you for being here. Thank you
of
for making some
course.
time for me in your very busy schedule.
Of course.
I'm so lucky. No one has told me no. No one's been like, nope, I'm not making
It's
time
hard
for
to
you.
tell you no, Sonia. It's hard. We all respect you so much, and we've learned so much from your content. So it's kind of a no-brainer to hop on here.
You guys. I'm so excited to capture your story because yours is one that really is so unique in the sense of what you've done with the material and the direction you're taking it. So let's dive
Yeah.
right in. So for the recording, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what you're up to and what you do.
Yeah. So my name is Soluto Uba. I'll try not to go into my spiel. It's so automatic.
Do it,
But
give it to them.
my name is Soluto Uba. I am the founder of the Uba Law Group. We help 6 and 7 figure companies protect their business, brand, and bank. And I wouldn't have been able to learn about how to protect the brand part, the IP, without your incredible course, 2 weeks to trademark, Sonia. So that's a big part of my story. But I'll let you ask whatever specific question you're looking to do.
You can say all kinds of nice things that you want to say about me. Go right ahead. No, unadulterated. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'm so proud of your successes. I recall that you came to me around, I want to say like around this time, summer 2020, like think of the
2020. Yep.
pandemic, probably like
Yep.
a couple months into the pandemic,
Yep.
right? And we had a call and you were like, I heard about you. So let's take it all the way back.
Yeah.
How did you come across me, the idea of trademarks, the
Yeah.
course, anything?
Okay, I'm gonna give my life story in the quick version.
Do it.
Always wanted to be a lawyer, went to law school, got married, did the law firm thing. A few years in, I started feeling, this is always my dream, but is this really it? And I had a few friends we were kind of having the same conversation. So shoot, 3 or 4 years in, my wife and I got pregnant. Mainly my wife was the pregnant one. And and when my son was about to be born, I kept on having the same thought. I was having a good job at the firm, good relationship, doing good work, but I kept on having the same thought. If I don't get out now, I'm gonna be trapped. Just because you're gonna have family, kids, responsibilities, you're gonna want to do all the right stuff, and you're gonna not want to take as many risks as you would if you didn't. So I actually resigned. I left my firm, and I thought I was actually done with the law. Started a real estate investing company. Got heavy into real estate. I still do some real estate projects on the side. But when you're the attorney in the community, even if you resign from your firm, everyone's just going to hit you up about the legal stuff. So for a good year and a half, people were asking me about all sorts of parts of law that I don't care about: criminal, immigration, family, none of that stuff. The only thing that I really liked was business and entrepreneurship. So I was helping people set up businesses on the side, I was forming LLCs, helping people get their whole company together, whatever. So after about a year and a half, I was like, let me just go ahead and formalize this thing. And then I launched the Uba Law Group in 2019, towards the fall of 2019. So the company was growing, still doing some real estate stuff, and the law firm side was growing, but then the pandemic hits, and it's like, oh crap, like things are going to change, for the good or better or worse or whatever. And so around that time, I was like, I needed to find something to add to my sphere of services and my deliverables, because I'm helping people establish businesses, and I'm kind of working with them and just checking up and doing all types of things to make sure that they're being successful. But one of the areas that I've noticed a lot is I'm working with a whole bunch of creative people. My first year and a half, I had a lot of creatives that we were helping. And so I was like, man, what does the intellectual property world look like? Let me learn about that, because I really had no background or no basis in it at all. And so I don't remember how I found out about you in the course. I'm still trying to recall. It's been a little bit. But there weren't a lot of real, that was probably what it was. So I think I went to the IP section of my bar and tried to look for trademark courses, CLEs, whatever. But there really wasn't anything comprehensive in a way that would, oh, you do this and you'll be able to learn this practice area. Traditionally, in our field, the way you learn a piece of law is you might study it in school, but you learn it by practice. You'll join a firm that specializes in IP or specializes in family, and you'll pretty much shadow behind an experienced attorney and you'll learn the game. But for people who are interested, attorneys that are interested in learning and adding a new practice area to their life or to their business and their life, there really wasn't a resource that could make that doable. So when I found 2 weeks to trademark, the name says it all, literally.
Yeah.
You can learn how to do this practice in a couple of weeks. I was like, is this lady legit? And so, everybody wants to see social proof and proof that things work. And so you go through the website and you join the community. And it's funny because it's marketing, but it's really smart. Like when you're interested, you get added to the Facebook group, and from there it's an abundant resource with so many different people speaking to so many different things, but it's legit social proof. You're an attorney, you're in an attorney group, you're seeing other people, and you can just go through the different posts and comments and testimonials about how it works. And so that I think is really genius, because of course you get people into the group, but it serves a purpose because it reassures you that, hey, Sonia's not just blowing smoke. I do this in real life. Like she does this in real life. Like you can actually succeed. So I take the course, and I don't know who it took 2 weeks for. It was like 4 days to trademark for me. So because like I need to figure this out.
So much.
Look, you got to do what you got to do. And so it was digestible enough where, hey, 1 day per session, I can really kind of chew, review, and 4 days to get through it again. But then you run it back and you go over the areas where you're trying to learn more and more. And but from there, it's I think I was on the same page that God wanted me to be on, because I literally had a trademark client, had another creative family friend from Houston hit me up and say, hey, I'm trying to trademark my tailoring business. I had a very, very great tailoring business that was growing, really starting to get local and statewide and a little bit of national acclaim, and he wanted to own the brand. He was like, do you know anybody that trademarks? I'm like, yes, I do.
You're
yes,
like,
I do.
As of fresh off the press yesterday.
As of 24 hours ago, yes. And so we were able to take that. And one of the most interesting things, just to kind of see the progression from there to now, is what I charged, what I quoted to him then is nowhere near just kind of the rates that we're doing now. Because another part of it is, as attorneys, it's such a conundrum. We're pretty, by and large, pretty competent and talented and smart people, and we're able to grasp concepts quickly and run with them and execute that in real life. But it's one thing to do that as an attorney in a firm where all the business stuff is established and set up and what your billable rate is and all that good stuff. But having that confidence as a business person yourself is really tricky. And so I was thinking through that as I was in the process of purchasing the course. So one of the other things that's just really smart marketing is there's 2 weeks to trademarks, and then there's Boss of an Empire, and the two were paired to each other and had a pretty nice discount if you got the two together. So I was like, let me just go ahead and do this, because I'm also going to want the game on how do I position this information that I have? How do I, hey, I'm a trademark attorney, but how do you bring people in to actually become clients? How do you set your prices? How do you bill? How do you create relationships? How do you generate referral machines? How do you gift? How do you do all these different things that are going to be necessary for your company to grow and have sustained success? So I got both of those courses, and I never regretted it. Like, so that summer was really just a summer of pouring in. I spent tens of thousands of dollars learning different parts of my business, which is necessary, because I tell people, I've worked with business owners, I work with entrepreneurs, and one of the things that you see is part of your confidence, no matter what field you're in, your confidence, charging your worth, and being able to demand your value, is you having the confidence of having invested in yourself. I paid thousands of dollars to learn my craft and to grow better and to become a better attorney and a better business owner and a better marketer and salesperson. So when I'm working with clients and I'm explaining, hey, you need this, this, and this, and this, and you got to protect yourself here, here, and here, and this is what it's going to cost, I don't blink anymore. Before, I used to feel very uncomfortable, but I mean, I still feel relatively uncomfortable about it, but not as much as I used to. I used to be very, very uncomfortable. I look back at what my prices were 2 years ago, and they made no business sense. Like, you're going to burn out. And even though I kind of knew it then, I didn't have the confidence to really be the attorney that I need to be and have my business function well, not because of the legal stuff, because the course taught me the legal stuff, but because no one teaches you how to be an actual business owner and how to leverage and delegate and use technology and use these things to help you. And so the course was was kind of groundbreaking there. So in other words, it was all right. You did a little bit.
You didn't hate it? Okay. You didn't hate
I
it?
didn't ask for a refund.
Right. You know what, to
No.
date, and I hope by the time this hits like publishing that like no one proves me wrong, but in all these years, I've never had to give a refund based on the content. Now, there's been a couple instances where someone like enrolled and they're like, shit hit the fan, where like, they were like, look, I'm embarrassed. I really need the money back. I'm like, oh my, I'm no monster. Absolutely. Take it. Like, okay, like you spent the money
we all have
back.
those situations.
Right. But like substantively, no one's ever come to me and been like, you're a fraud. That was a waste of time. But like, no, thank God. Yeah.
Not a surprise. For a substantive reason, there's no way that could be the case. Like, you take the course and you learn how to practice trademarks. And so what I think is really great is that it sets a very strong foundation. Now, can you continue to learn and go through that? Obviously, the TMEP is there for you, and really the way that it's structured, it's actually pretty helpful in some areas. And so you can, of course, learn and gain your craft, but even the way that the pipeline is set up, the group is there for just that reason. I can't tell you the amount of times I've had, what about XYZ? And I'm about to type it. I was like, let me search this real quick. And someone else has searched the exact question that I had. And it just rebolsters your confidence on a number of levels. Number one, everyone feels like they're dumb or their question is silly or they're asking something that is unimportant. And then when you either ask it and you see all those likes hit on your post because people have the same idea, or you check and multiple people have asked this question before, it reassures you that no, you're not on the island. You're just as competent and also confused at times as anyone else. We're all in this journey together. But then number two, when you see the answers from all these other attorneys that have been in the game a little bit longer or just experienced something like that, and they're giving you very pertinent, specific, and helpful information, it's like, oh, wow, people really do care. We're really invested and interested in our success. And honestly, I think this group, more than any other that I've been on with regards to attorney groups, or really any industry group at all, has been so big on helping out and collaborating. Now, obviously, we're all trying to make money, and sometimes we might have competing market share for clients, but I haven't seen anybody really just be like a hater like that. Like, people are generous, people are willing to go above and beyond. People will DM you if it's something that they don't need to kind of share on the public sphere. Like, I've had hour-long conversations with strangers that I met in this group that have really just given me the game about, hey, no, here's how you do this, this, and this. And then, the conversation will shift to some other situation. Where are you from? What sports do you like? Do you have kids? What interests do you have? Yada, yada, yada. Yeah. You like battle rap? You like whatever it is.
There's
so much of a real connection because the tone is set from the beginning. And so lastly, I'll share this. Maybe you don't want to throw it in. I remember I joined in summer 2020. Before the group hit 1,000 people. Like, I remember the group hit 1,000. Oh man, this group is getting too big. It's not going to be intimate anymore. But now we're approaching, like, you're approaching $3,000. But the cool thing is, it still is the same. Like, the vibe has not changed. The energy hasn't changed. The culture is the same. And being someone who's been a part of big organizations, I know that's not easy, and I know that doesn't happen by default. So there's a lot of intentionality behind that, but then the people come and they sustain that energy. So shout out to you.
Thank you.
Once again, it's all right. It's cool.
Thank you. I know I wish I could take credit for how amazing everyone else is, but I can't, because the community is only exists and is comprised by its members, right? By the energy that other people bring. But it is nice that I had this idea years ago to I saw this vision because, like so many ideas, it's birthed from what you didn't have, right? Or you're trying to solve something that didn't exist that you were like looking for. And, I remember when I was starting out, it's now been 12 years. At that point, I was like, I want to learn trademarks. I want to do trademarks. It was the only class. I say this famously. My mom made me go to law school. She's Middle Eastern. She's like, you're going to law school. Like, my daughter's we get like 3 career choices. And she was like, you're going to law school. I was like, oh God. I hated every minute of it. But I didn't.
Lawyer, engineer, or just
and I was famously a class ditcher and famously a C law student, famously hated kicking and screaming, wanted to drop out, and I didn't hate trademarks. It was the only area. And I was like, this is all I want to do. And I couldn't figure out how to learn it. No one was willing to teach me. No one was willing to impart, because at that time, back in 2010, right? We're 12 years from the 2022 now. There was this mentality of like, well, if I teach you, that's less on my plate if it goes on your plate. But it's not like, oh, the pie gets bigger and then we both get to eat, right? Like that mentality wasn't there. And I felt like that was like in the wrong mentality. And I just wanted to see if that mentality existed, and to be able to cultivate that is a dream come true. It is, because like you said, everyone's after, in essence, the same audience, but there's so many directions that you can go in, right? Like with your tax strategy and the brand protection folding into the overall kind of offering that you have. So let's dig into that a little bit more. So we started off with the tailor client, right? Which was, right at the beginning. And it's been a couple of years, and I've been fortunate to see your growth since then. So talk to me about how you were marketing, how you sort of developed your clientele, within this sub brand that you built.
Yeah. So one of the things that's really been cool was seeing it work, paying for it myself, and understanding the concept 2 weeks to trademarks, boss of an empire, and seeing everything that went around with it, really solidified in my mind that, hey, I can take something I know and turn it into a product, turn it into a course, turn it into whatever that'll actually add value to people and teach them to do it in real life. So I started, and the idea was in my mind for a while now, but because I took that break and I launched a real estate investing company, I was big in the real estate investing community. So went to some of the bigger conferences and made connections and established relationships with folks. And so one of the things that I learned the most and I love the most about real estate investing is taxes. It sounds weird, but if you own rental properties, if you own real estate, you understand that there's a huge tax benefit that you get from that. And so when I was moving in these other spaces, with the real estate investors, people would talk about it to an extent, but I don't know that people really kind of nerded out over it like I like to. And so as I start to shift more back into my law firm and launching it, because it just seemed kind of inevitable, one of the things that I see with entrepreneurs and business owners is some folks knew, but a vast majority of people had no idea how to really leverage their business and their entrepreneurship when it comes to taxes and saving money. And so I'd come across business owners killing it, 6-7-figure companies, and I asked you, hey, you're set up as an S corporation? And like, what's that? I'm like, oh, okay, you don't understand any of this. It's like, okay, you take deductions. It's like, yeah, I write off my laptop, and sometimes I have a desk and some furniture that I wrote off. Oh, wait, what? That's all? It's like, yeah, that's.
Oh my gosh, it's painful.
And it's like, oh, okay, so there's a gap here, and this is the stuff that I read about, podcast about, audiobook about, and nerd out for fun. How do I translate this into something that'll be really palatable and helpful for business owners? Because it's true. I say it a little bit tongue in cheek, but if you're a business owner doing really well, you can write off your life. If part of your marketing, your branding is social media, and you do a lot of lifestyle and marketing connected to what you do, you can legitimately write off things that you would have done otherwise. And so you need to know this, because people don't understand the biggest expenses you'll pay over the course of your business is taxes. And I'm gonna nerd out a little bit here.
Go for it.
But one of the things that excites me about taxes itself is not just because taxes, that's cool, the laws are cool, whatever, but this is a means to an end. Oftentimes, I work with business owners that are really kind of on that come up. They're not in like startup mode anymore. They're not a small business. They have a set of clientele, but they really want to push through to that next level. So, they're too small. They're too big to be small, but they're too small to really be a bigger, thriving business. And oftentimes, when it comes to really growing, it'll either be using technology and systems, or maybe hiring an additional team member that can help elevate your company to the next level. And so what we've seen is, and I've asked clients, what would you do if you had an extra 20K, 25K, 15K to bring on someone maybe part-time to free you up to respond to emails, to respond to phone calls, and do things that are necessary, but kind of menial tasks that suck away so much of your energy and your brain power and your creativity? What would that look like? And every single person will be, oh my gosh, that'd be great. How am I going to pay for that? Well, the reality of the situation is the money's already sitting inside of your business. You're just paying it over Uncle Sam because you don't understand the tax code.
There it is.
And so people realizing that I can make more money or keep more money in my business. I don't have to work any additional hours. That's been a big game changer. So we've had clients that have literally hired team members to do fulfillment and to respond and do all that stuff. And now they're able to network, they're able to think bigger, they're able to come up with ideas and meet people and form relationships that are growing their business. And that's the part that really gets me excited, because, you know, save money is great. I love it and I do it, but really establishing that dream and turning your business into what you want it to be. Because as much as I love, you know, helping entrepreneurs and helping people, I do it all the time, my job and my company help me have the type of life that I want to have for my family, help me be the type of husband I want to be, type of dad, the type of friend, the type of church member, the type of a brother, the type of son that I want to be to people around me. So helping people do that and experience that kind of that same success is extremely gratifying. So that's my short way of saying we created the Tax Strategy VIP day in order to teach people how to do that. And 2 weeks to Trademark, really, I knew it theoretically that, yeah, you can create a course, but it showed me that you can do this and people will pay for it because it's producing real change that they can apply. And so just, it's been so dope having clients. Yeah, we saved $18,000 this year. Oh, we're on track, we're on pace, we're gonna save like $23,000. And they can do this every single year. Like, it's not a one-off. Like, this is part of their business now.
Right.
It's really rewarding.
That's incredible to see that you've taken it in your own direction. At present, or even just like the last couple of years, what has been the trajectory of, you know, you practicing trademarks and having that be a part of like your business offerings and how you've implemented that?
Yeah, so it's been really cool. So of course that imposter syndrome that you have to deal with to really start to learn your value and charge it took a while, because even we were learning in 2020, it wasn't really till the middle of 2021. I was like, okay, no, these rates need to start reflecting the value and the services being added. But probably trademarks went from obviously 0% of my practice to probably we're around 30, maybe 35% of the practice. And then even the tax VIP offering, the tax strategy offering has now changed to maybe about 10, 15% of it. And so what was not half of what I did 2 years ago is now half of what I do. And really, what I feel like is great is that a lot of the services that I have are very complementary. And so if you're going to create a business and you want to make sure it's set up the right way, and you know that, hey, this is really about to be the next thing. Oh, I need to go ahead and set up this trademark protection and get that set up, because it's going to take a year to a year and a half anyway. So let's do that now.
Get that ball rolling. Yeah.
You've had a couple good years. Yeah, let's look at this tax strategy. You don't need to be spending X amount of money and paying all the self-employment tax and not writing off the vacation that you're already going to take, and you got kids that can work in the business and you're paying them with money when your business should be paying them. Anyway, all these things, they build on top of each other. So it's been great to see clients that we've been able to walk with from inception, and now their businesses are really starting to hit their stride.
I love that. And that you do come in the beginning and you kind of help take care of the back of the house stuff. But then it's like, okay, what happens after that? And you have found your own unique ways to add, you know, to continue adding that value.
Indeed.
One thing I know that, you know, and it's something I would ask if I was entering a new practice area or dabbling, you know, and trying to decide if something's worth an investment is, you know, really what are some realistic revenue possibilities, right? If I add trademarks to my practice, or, you know, I really build this out. What would you, to the extent that you're comfortable with your, you know, of course, we don't want to get too nosy into your own numbers.
$100 million a year, no.
Definitely not. But, you know, but there's definitely a lot of potential that can be realized depending on how you go about it. So what has your personal experience been as far as the impact on your revenue from adding trademarks?
So you know, not going too far into the weeds, adding trademark packages and really even learning the way to position the packages that you're going to add, because when you follow the course, you know, there are basic steps that you take when presenting a package. So whether you're going to do just search and application, whether you're going to use search and application and office action, and you know how much is administrative going to be included versus substantive and all that stuff, you can really start to kind of scale the packages. So we primarily have packages that are going to include, all packages include search and application, but we have an additional, our premium package that includes the office action as well. So when we're presenting to the client, 70 to 80% of applications will have an OA there just by the stats from the USPTO. So most people choose the office action package. So realistically, this is added in a first year of really doing it, $30,000 to $50,000 worth of business.
Amazing.
And yeah, it's great because the more you start to learn and the more you're able to better communicate the reality of these things to clients. So I used to talk about it all the time, but the more clients you have, you see it in real life. I had a client, we set an LLC for them. Hey, we talked about, hey, you know, protect your brand, yada, yada. Maybe later. They launched their business. They had a brick and mortar business. They had a ribbon cutting. And then a week later, they got hit with the cease and desist because there's another business that had a name similar to theirs. And it's like, these are the stories. The one thing I hate about my job the most is that I often feel like I'm an ambulance chaser because I'm chasing people after the fact of something bad, when something bad happens. So we try to give out as much information and be very educational about, hey, this is why you got to protect your LLC. This is why you got to protect your brand. This is why you got to do all these things. But unfortunately, a lot of people really won't take that proactive step to respond unless it's not a proactive step. It's a reactive step. They're not going to respond unless they're reacting to something that happens. We've gotten better with this, and our message has been out there so much that we have people coming to me, hey, I want to protect my stuff from the beginning, which is great. But we have had some instances where a client will come to you or a prospect will come to you when their house is on fire.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you know, there's some things we can put out, but ideally you would want this to happen before. So we've been getting a pretty decent amount of cases to be honest, a decent amount of trademark cases. And also one of the things that's really cool that we learned from Boss of an Empire is putting yourself out there. I feel like as business owners, we get too coy about what we do. People need to know what you do. There are people that are your client that would want to work with you, but they have no idea you offer those services. And so they're going to go with someone who's not going to do a good job. We've had to pick up multiple cases where the client got office action, not even anything extreme, but they're on the verge of their application being abandoned because their other attorney just didn't do anything. They didn't respond to the OA, or they did themselves, and we had to take over from there. It's like, this probably would have been cheaper for you had you done it legit, but you know, I'll hop in, I'll take your money, but we're gonna help you. We're gonna get you set up. And so at the end of the day, people are achieving their goals and protecting their brands, and we're making good money, we're serving people, and we're learning how to set up a type of business that's going to grow and is going to be able to create the type of life you're looking for.
I love that. It's so wonderful to see that you've taken material, turned it into something for yourself, and then turned it into things for other people too, where
Indeed.
And it is a ripple impact. And I think that's incredible. That's incredible. That's such an amazing thing to see.
Yeah.
So you've obviously had a lot of positive impact from the, you know, it related to the course, which is so humbling to be able to hear. Yeah, I love that. What would you say, can you think of any sort of, you know, one or two maybe like recent, or even if not recent, but just specific wins that you felt like, you know, this moment or this experience or this story wouldn't have happened, you know, or it was directly because I took this course or I invested in this material? Like, I love hearing the relation.
I mean, so the first part, every single trademark client I had, period. But really, I think, like I said, during the summer of 2020, I spent a lot of money on courses and instruction and learning about sales. And taking your course is literally the first step that I took into investing in myself. And this is kind of tangential, but it's extremely related. There's going to be a point where you're going to have to take that next level commitment if you really want to grow. I know so many business owners, and of course you have to do this wisely because people can spend money on things that won't actually help them. But a lot of folks, and I'll see the question, you know, from time to time, you know, I want to learn about trademarks. Is it really going to be worth it? So number one, the content is there. the information is there, but beyond the actual information, you as a person, as an attorney, as a business owner, you are not going to get to the space that you need to get to in your business until you pay the cost, until you invest in yourself, until you put, as we like to say in real estate, skin in the game, until you have a vested interest in what you're doing, because your mindset isn't going to shift. And even if you start to get clients, you're not going to feel like you can really charge what you should charge, or you're providing what you should provide, because it's not going to feel as real to you as when you invest in yourself. So that's a big thing. I tell my business owners all the time, there's only so much that you can do kind of bootstrapping it. You're going to want to put some investment in it, because what you're producing for your clients isn't going to feel as real to them as it should, because it doesn't feel as real to you, because you don't feel like you've put the necessary blood, sweat, and tears and money into what you're doing. So it's just a reality of life. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, we've had clients where we've been able to put a multiple offer bundle. One of my biggest clients was around a $10,000 package, 2 trademarks, multiple LLCs, and also we actually switched up one into a tax strategy. And so that whole package, that whole cohesive unit that we're able to offer them wouldn't have made sense if I didn't, number one, have the comfort and ease in the trademark practice, and was really didn't have the whole lineage of services and offerings to give them that made sense for what they were doing. They're doing X amount of things in real estate. They had another business that they need to establish. They had a really cool brand name that's going to be popping once that registration comes through, that they need to protect all at the same time. And because I was had so much experience and had gained my confidence doing these things, and in offering both my tax strategy services, and then of course my bread and butter, which is LLCs, we're able to look, hey, here's all these things that you're going to need, and they're going to hit at pretty much the same time. So let's do it all right now, and it's going to be about 10K. And I didn't blink.
Amazing.
And I didn't stutter saying it, because number one, I paid multiple thousands of dollars doing it, and I understood what I was doing. And I believed in what I was doing, and that confidence that I had got conveyed to the client, and it felt nice when they hit that big old invoice.
I had to have felt good.
It felt quite good. And so in what's even last part I'll say is, when you're working with the right clients too, that investment that they put into you establishes and deepens their confidence in their relationship. We're already talking about other things that they're going to be doing in the future. And now I'm in a position to do what I like to do. I like to be a trusted advisor. We call it the power team. I like being on people's power teams, because as an attorney, as someone who studies the tax game and studies the LLC world and is able to know how they're operating, I can see things that they're not looking at and advise them ahead of time. And so it's so cyclical, and it's so rewarding, and it just grows on top of each other. And these are things I wouldn't have the technical knowledge to do, and I wouldn't have the confidence to do if I hadn't taken the course.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. I love that. And it really does sound like it was like a dual power for you, right? Like getting substantive knowledge, like the actual how-to, but then also kind of like this intangible, a little bit of an emotional thing that we go through, like the confidence and the energy that you have, feel like you need to bring, that maybe that the material gave to you, right? Or maybe, do you feel like hearing the instruction from someone who did it, right, like made you also kind of like helped you kind of see what was possible, and like a blueprint, in a way?
Yeah. And so I didn't even talk about this part. Duh. So one of the things that was extremely helpful is we talked about what it was, and then we did it. We literally walked through and you did it. And it took the concept and then brought it to real life reality. And you saw how it was done. You saw how it was technically performed with the applications from the USPTO, but then you saw all the other stuff, figure out how we do our searches and how we figure out all this stuff, and then figure out how we respond to OAs and what we research to make sure that we have a strong case, which corresponds to the search report that we did from the jump. And then one of the things I always appreciated was that it took something that was theoretical or ethereal and brought it down to earth. And so some of the other services that we provide is we do speaking engagements. We do talk to colleges and organizations, and the feedback I love the most is, I get it. you took this and you turned it into English. And so one of the things that I like to do, both whether it be about taxes or LLCs or legal and branding and trademark, is to take it to lay people and have them feel comfortable. Obviously, they're not going to be an attorney, but have them feel comfortable and have them expressing peace of mind because, oh, okay, this does make sense. And a brain that understands, a mind that's comfortable, will say yes if they're a prospect. And so learning it and being comfortable has even added to the sales pipeline, because when people get and people can see the game plan and they understand what you're going to do for them, they feel comfortable saying yes, they feel comfortable becoming clients. So that's been a huge, just watching it and seeing the course. It's not just words. You get to see how to actually do it. And there's so many different examples. And then the additional resources that you have, whether it be the OA Bootcamp, Life After Circle R, all these different things that teach you how to continue to work the craft, because the relationship is just beginning when they become a trademark client, because they're going to need continual support. What does that look like?
Right.
So there's additional resources behind there as well. So it's real life practical knowledge. And I think, I'm glad that you asked the question, because sometimes I don't think you can state that enough, because as attorneys, I feel like we deal with a lot of, very theoretical stuff that it's hard for us to figure out exactly how this is going to be applied. The course isn't like that. It shows you how to do it. You do this, you follow this, you'll be able to practice trademarks. There's the theoretical and the instruction and understanding the background, but you actually get to learn how to do the stuff in real life and how to execute it.
I'm so glad that you had so much takeaway from it. I mean, that was exactly what I intended. But when you design something and when you create something, it doesn't always translate to life. And to hear that exactly what I envisioned for attorneys to learn is happening, and then some. Like, I never envisioned the energy part and the confidence part. Like, I guess it was like, yeah, but to hear that's such a big part of it, because it does give you kind of like the ability to respond back to an email and say, this is my price.
Yeah.
Period. And when someone's like, and you're like, well, that's my price. Like, that's an energy thing. That's a confidence thing.
Had that conversation yesterday.
Yeah.
I was like, well, we have our free content that we put on, but this is how we'll be able to help you.
Yeah. I had somebody, it's not often, I will say, like, the more advanced I get in my career, the less it happens. But, but I had one, I want to say in December. So I guess 6 months ago, someone was like, it was a referral from someone else who would use me and another attorney, blah, blah. Like, all the pieces were lined up for it to just be a layup, right? Like, somebody had used me, it was another attorney, blah, blah, blah. And we went through a whole consult and everything. The person's like, I just have one last question. I'm like, sure. We went through my framework of like process, time frame, cost. Why are you so expensive? I'm like, because I'm good at what I do. Period. Like, that's it. It's a full sentence. Like, I was like, because I'm good at what I do. I'm not the best in the game, because I don't know how you measure best in our industry.
Subjective.
I don't know. Yeah, it is very subjective, because best could be, well, you do a great job of marketing. Okay. Or, you're always at the top of my damn Instagram feed talking about your Starbucks, talking about your, okay. Yeah. Or is it number of applications filed? Not necessarily. Yeah. Not necessarily, right? Because I think there's a whole host of things that go on in trademark practice that is not just filings. And I'm an example of that. So is it years in the game? No, because that's not, I know 30-year attorneys that still ask not so bright questions. So I don't know what best in the game is, but I think it's okay to say you're good at what you do, because
indeed.
Yeah. I mean, and it's the same thing with doctors, right? Like, how do you know someone's the best doctor at the best cardiologist, the best whatever? Yeah. But I know you touched on this a few minutes ago, but I want to wind it back just because, I want to be respectful of your time and, your schedule too. You guys has got lots to do. Clearly, he's got lots of people waiting to talk to him.
Yeah, a little bit.
So, obviously when you're embarking on an investment of any kind, right? Like, you have, it seems to be like a very healthy investment driven mindset where you see the value in things and, you vet them. But, I think people are all over the spectrum when it comes to that. And especially when it comes to a cost that may be a little outside their comfort zone, but, still tied to a lot of value. So, having gone through the course, having been in the community for this long, and having had a couple years to really implement the material, what would you say to somebody who is on the fence about the course and about investing in him or herself when it comes to trademarks?
Yeah. You teed that up perfectly because I was not always there. I had to get there because what I realized was I did the route of trying to kind of bootstrap it and piece it together from all these different places and watch this YouTube video, listen to that podcast, find these different pieces of material or beg someone to kind of shadow them and see what they do. And I guess if I want to ask the question in the big theoretical picture, is it possible to kind of put all the pieces together? Sure. But what it's going to cost you is time, and it's going to cost you confidence because you're not going to have all the answers that you need to move forward all at the same time doing it that way. It's not to say that you'll have every single question answered from any single piece of course or material, whatever, but you're going to have what you need to move forward. And so one of the things that I talk to with attorneys and with entrepreneurs in general is you're going to have to ask yourself, what are you worth? What is your time worth? What are your dreams, your ambitions worth? Are you trying to have a better life than you had growing up? You have kids, you want your kids to have a better life, want whatever, it's gonna cost something. And if you know you're trying to create that type of lifestyle, you want to add the type of value, you want to create the type of impact, you want to do whatever you're doing, is the cost that you're willing to pay equal to the impact and the change that you want to experience? There's only so many ways around it. And so,
we in church, y'all. We in church today.
now I say with my whole chest, like, pay the cost, period. Because they're either going to pay the cost now or you're going to pay the cost when you screw something up. Because we experience that same thing with clients. Oh, hey, I did it myself, and I have this office action due in a month and a half. Okay, I can help you. That's going to cost you.
Yeah.
Because there's an order and structure to things. And so we live in the technological age. There's the internet, there's all sorts of stuff that we can access information, but some things don't change. And when you look at people who've been successful, success leaves hints, and it's not random. There's a reason why the leaders in the area all kind of have some similar mindsets and similar things that they recommend. It's not random. There's a reason why people that you admire, you trust, and seem to be doing well, are telling you a certain thing. And I've got no dog in this fight. I've got no skin in the game when it comes to praising something randomly. This works, and it works because the content's on point, but it works because it also transforms your mind and inspires you to have the confidence that you need to have as an attorney, as a business owner. So I make no bones about it. I say it with my whole chest: pay the costs or stop talking about it, because this is what you need to move forward, and the results will show themselves. I mean, if you're going to get clients and you're going to charge them, they're going to pay you to offer the service, and you're going to perform the service, and then you're going to make your ROI. It's pretty. I've X'd my ROI from the course. Easy.
What would you? I'm just curious. Now I have to ask. Like, what would you say the X is of your ROI? If you had to just pull a number. Look at the number genius go.
So the funny thing is, because if I'm just gonna do 2 weeks to trademark, probably 20x that. But if I'm doing that and Boss of the Empire, if I'm doing the two combined, that's almost incalculable, because Boss of the Empire helped me create the framework that I needed to launch my own tax strategy masterclass, and then that has even turned into other things. Let's suffice it to say, I've made my money back. and
then some. We love to see it. And so I love it.
It's worth it. And one last thing that I would say, though, because it's helpful. Obviously, I'm not where I want to be. We've talked a bit about some of the goals that I want to have with and growing my firm, and bring greater clients and pipeline and all that good stuff. So everybody, you have to have goals, but don't pace yourself according to someone else's star. You don't know where they've been. You don't know what network that they've set up. You don't know what interactions they've had. The success that they've been saying, the overnight success that they look like, could have very well taken 5, 10, 15, 20 years in the making. So don't judge yourself by anybody else's metric. Just know what you're trying to accomplish and see, hey, is this going to help me get there? So when I purchased 2 weeks of trademarks, hey, can I make this ROI back in a few months? And I did. And then now, once you've made your money back, you're in the black. It's house money. You're using the skills that you paid for once, and they're just 10, 20, 30, 40, 50xing no matter how long you go in your career, because you're still going to be able to apply the information.
Yeah.
So that's also very important, I want to say, because I know there's a big comparison game that can happen sometimes.
Sure.
Run on your track, but just know that the investment's going to be worth it.
I'm so proud of you. And this is only the beginning. We're in the first few years. You're gonna look back on this and be like, oh, that's adorable. I made 50K more last year. Like, that's so cute, you know?
Yeah.
Oh,
I appreciate
I'm so
that.
proud of you. No, I am
Thank
like
you.
front row auntie clap. Like, it's amazing to see. It is, because
I
you
appreciate
really
that.
do. Yeah, you want other people to win, and you are. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love
man.
to hear what it's done for your business, what it's done for your family, what it's done for your own confidence, your own mindset, your own path. It's amazing. All around wins.
Yeah. There's nothing to argue. It's straight up. So if you're on the fence, do it.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, it's just true.
I appreciate your time so much. Thank you. Is there anything that we didn't get to that you want to make sure that we do to cover, or that you get to say?
No, I think that's it. I think oftentimes, and my big thing is, we talked about the technical stuff. You're going to learn how to do it, but the mindset, I believe, is the biggest hurdle. You have to overcome that. You have to, whatever you're doing, because it's going to go beyond 2 weeks to trademarks. Even if you invested in other things in the past and the return wasn't there, you still gain something that you might not realize. You learn the value of putting yourself out there, betting on yourself. Because as a business owner, as someone who's adding trademarks to your practice, you might be in a firm and adding trademarks to your practice, but you're still betting on yourself. You might be a solo attorney adding trademarks to your practice. You're betting on yourself.
Absolutely.
And that willingness to bet on yourself is going to spur your success more than anything else. You're going to learn the stuff, but as you want to reach greater heights, it's going to require you to invest and to step out there more and more and more. And these are the things that give you the confidence to be able to grow to those spaces that you want to get to. So do it. That would be just do it. I think some group has trademarked that.
Just do it. There might be a company or two, one that says that often. Thank you so much again. Thank you. These words and your experience breathes life into what I do and what I get to do. Like, it's a privilege to be able to get to do it, and I don't take it lightly. So thank you. Thank you.
You're much welcome. Of course.
Have a good rest of your day. I appreciate your time so much. Thank you.
Of course.
Bye.
Take care.
You too.